Welcome to the show. Colin Cowherd is off today. Coming up, I'll tell you why I love Tiger Woods' response to questions about Donald Trump and why the Giants will ultimately regret paying Odell Beckham Jr. But let's start with NFL superstar Tom Brady, who, like a lot of Americans and our current president, hates the media. This morning, Brady overreacted during a radio interview when asked several questions about his personal trainer, Alex Guerrero. Take a listen.
We saw the reports this weekend that Alex was on the team playing, which he wasn't for the second half of last year, I guess, and not on the sideline. Is that accurate?
Yeah, he was with me this last week, so it was, yeah.
What changed in him not being on the team playing last year and this year? Was that just communication back and forth, or was that?
I'm not getting into all that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, when I ran into him at the Super Bowl last year in Minneapolis, I remember talking to you about it at the time. When I talked to him there, he had said in his opinion that all this stuff had been overblown, that he and Belichick actually had a pretty good relationship even then. Would you say that was true?
I said I don't want to get into it.
Okay. Go ahead, Evan.
Yeah. I mean, everyone knows it's well documented how, the work that he and I do together.
No, I know. I understand that. I'm just trying to figure out, because I saw the reports this weekend that he's traveling with the team. Was he on the sideline on Friday?
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later.
All right, that's not a great look for Tom Brady there. There's no reason for him to abruptly end the interview. The questions about Guerrero were harmless and inconsequential. But Brady hates the media. He sees this as a necessary evil, quite possibly the worst part of his job. He believes we sensationalized the Deflategate controversy and unnecessarily smeared his reputation. He thinks it's unfair that a Make America Great Again hat in his locker stall became a national story and controversy. A year ago, a Boston radio personality called Brady's daughter a pissant on air, and it infuriated the reigning MVP. Brady is never going to declare war against the media. He'll never publicly admit that he hates the media. He knows he can't win that war. But there's a reason he only allows Jim Gray to ask him any real questions. There's a reason he keeps hanging up during radio interviews and walking out of press conferences.
Tom, when Julian tested positive, a lot of people connected it to Alex Guerrero. Just what's your reaction to that? Do you think it's fair?
I have no comment. That's just ridiculous.
Tom,
I'm out.
see you guys.
Brady justifiably, in my opinion, thinks we're fake news. He thinks we're grossly unfair and hypocritical. He knows he's a potential target for the mainstream media's love affair with race baiting. For years, nearly every celebrity and politician, regardless of race, were friends with Donald Trump. Now being friends with the president brands you a racist or a sellout. Tom Brady overreacted this morning. I don't blame him. We're obsessed with clickbait, not the truth. We promote racial division, not understanding. There's a popular twist on a Mark Twain quote. If you don't follow the media, you're uninformed. If you do follow the media, you're misinformed. I'm giving Brady a pass here. I don't have a problem with his disdain for and lack of patience with the media. We deserve it. All right, joining me now, Mark Schlereth, former NFL player star, Bucky Brooks, former NFL star, TJ Houshmandzadeh, former NFL Pro Bowler. All right, guys, tell me where I'm wrong, if I'm wrong. I don't have any problem with Tom Brady's disdain for the media. I think it's justified.
He's the face of the franchise. He has to stand tall. He has to handle the questions. He has to answer them. PR 101. Everyone is going to come to him. He has a partnership with Alex Guerrero. He has to answer those questions. That's part of the deal. That's part of what comes with being the star quarterback, the face of the franchise. Address it early, then move on. If he just addresses the questions early, I don't think you have to deal with it anymore.
I look at it exactly the opposite. You don't want to continue to cause controversy on an organization that has been under the spotlight, the white-hot spotlight, since last year, since the Super Bowl. So, you've mended fences with your ownership and your head coach, and you answered the questions. Guys, yeah, he was on the sideline. He flew on the team playing with us. All right, guys, I don't want to answer more of those questions. I don't want to. He didn't have to answer anything. He answered that, yes, he made the team flight. I don't want to answer that question anymore. You keep prodding him. Eventually he just says, okay, see you guys. It was cordial. I mean, he didn't get hostile. He just said, he told him twice, I don't want to answer that question about Alex Guerrero. He told him what he was going to do, then he left. I don't have any issue with it at all.
You're 100% correct. It's Kraft, Belichick, Dr. G, Alex Guerrero, and Tom Brady. They must have had a sit down and they've mended fences. They've handled whatever animosity in the situation what it was last year. They figured that out. You already know the answer to the question. He was on the plane. You know that. He was on the sideline. You saw him on the side. What else do you want me to tell you? What else do you want me to tell you? Brady's not going to get into it because fences have been mended. The relationship is back intact. He's not going to answer any questions because he likes the access that Alex is being given again.
I'm going to agree with Bucky's point to a degree. I don't have a problem with the disdain for the media. He doesn't trust us. He doesn't want to add fuel to it. I, however, agree with Bucky's point that if he does answer this question during this radio interview, it does go away.
He did answer.
No, not
But
really.
now it comes back up. Because now when he goes
It's 'cause he
and he has
walked out.
the next big presser, now he has to deal with it all over again. If he just gives them a simple, curt, short answer about, yes, he was on the sideline, I guess he has his privilege, whatever, it goes away. But now it becomes a bigger story. It's going to be talked about on the 24-hour news cycle.
What he
and he's
should have
going to
said
have to
was,
continue to address it.
What he should have said is, I'm not in charge of this. You might want to talk to coach about who has access on the sideline and who doesn't. He can. That's how you
That
handle.
fuel.
But
That fuel.
But he's. Tom is not
you know
controlling
how-
who's on the sideline.
You know how the media works in these scenarios, right? They wait for Brady to say something. That's like a big conga line. Da, 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 cha, da, 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 cha. Let's go over here. Did you hear what Brady said about so-and-so? You know? And then it becomes this big firestorm. I mean, he's been around long enough to know if I go down this road, it's just going to cause more controversy and more questions for me. I answered it. I answered it cordially. You asked me again in another form. I said I already answered it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And then you asked me again. I said, okay,
And guess what?
we're done.
I guarantee another media member won't ask that question unless they want their interview cut short. He's going to walk off.
I'm not so sure because as someone that makes a living doing this, and you
So you would take that chance of him walking out of the.
What, me? Are you kidding?
No,
me?
no,
You-
no,
my
everybody's not
reputation
like
is-
you. Everybody's not like
I'm
you.
going to go directly at him. Oh, you walked off? Let's see if you'll walk off again on me. Because listen, I'm just telling you, if you're the radio host, this is good. We're talking about him. We're talking about the station. This is good controversy. I have zero problem with Brady's disdain for the media. Bucky, though, is right, though. He could have given 1 and 2 word answers.
And been done with it.
He was there. And he once he answered, now what? And then the guy asked another question. You give him a 1 or 2 word. Because again, Mark, you've hosted a lot of radio shows.
Sure.
I certainly have. The one thing you hate are 1 and 2 word answers. That kills a radio show. And that's
That point is well taken.
Yeah.
You'd be like, all right, we need to move on from this because I
Yeah.
ain't going to get nothing.
Yeah, and so
Right.
by hanging up and walking away, now you've made the radio host's job. You created a controversy. You give him those 1 or 2 word answers, then he says, I'm moving on because this is just bad radio. You hanging up, that's good radio.
Gave me great publicity as a radio show
Yeah.
host, but you know what happens now? Now the PD comes down and go, okay, great. We got a relationship. We're paying a lot of money for this. You know what? You guys stay off these questions from here. But you're right. It served a purpose. Everybody in Boston's talking about that radio interview and Brady walking away from it.
He just should handle it. He knows he's the face of the franchise. It's been a long, ongoing controversy. Just handle the question. Just take it. You're the
But
face of the
I
franchise.
think this speaks to where Tom Brady is at with the media. He's had it.
Yeah.
He's just had it. And I think a lot of people in the sports world that are newsmakers, they're all moving to this point of like, I've just had it. You guys are trolling me. You guys are unfair to me. You take anything I say out of context. Again, we spend a lot of the summer, and I know Tom's not ultra sensitive, but it's like TMZ got the pictures of him and his wife in bikinis out on, and the next thing you know, everybody is going out of their way to show the pictures of Brady with the dad bod and looking kind of silly. And it's like, in Tom Brady, again, I know the dude's not ultra sensitive, but he's just like, I can't go on vacation. without getting clown suited by the media. Now they got Jason Whitlock and Speak for Yourself for showing that picture over and over again. They've just had it, and so he's not going to be cooperative. And so I think me, as a media person who has said there's a rift between Brady and Belichick, I need to now start reevaluating some of Tom's behavior, and if the real rift isn't between Brady and the media, and maybe they have made the peace you're talking about between Brady, Guerrero, and Belichick.
Alex is, it's not just Brady, though. Gronkowski wants to work with him. Julian Edelman wants, it's Brady brought him in there. But Alex has worked on Belichick as well. Like, he's not just working on players. He's worked on coaches. So they know the type of work that he does, and it's beneficial to them. Other players on the team want to work with Alex, and so Coach Belichick knows it gives his team an advantage because he does a great job. Because the other guys on the team he's not just working, he's working with everybody. And so it helps him. It gives him a competitive advantage during the game and keeps the guys healthy.
I think you look at social media and the influence that social media has had on our profession in general, right? Everybody's breaking
Always
stories.
goes back to that one.
Right? Everybody wants to sensationalize stories. Mm-hmm. The truth is sensational enough if you just use it. Unfortunately, most people won't. So, I mean, that's, it's become very sensationalized. Everybody wants clickbait, as you mentioned, a soundbite to play over and over on your radio show. I get it.
All right, welcome back. Mark Schlereth and TJ Houshmandzadeh are back. We're joined now by the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to Tiger Woods, who finished in the middle of the pack at the Northern Trust this weekend after a rough weekend with some surprisingly bad putting. But an even bigger surprise came at the press conference after the final round when a reporter decided to press Tiger on his relationship with President Trump.
Well, I've known Donald for a number of years. We've played golf together, and we've had dinners together. And so, yeah, that's I've known him, pre-presidency and obviously during his presidency.
At a time, especially 2018, I think a lot of people, especially people of color, immigrants, feel threatened by him, by his policies. He's thrown himself into sports debates in terms of race with LeBron James, with the anthem. What do you say to people who might find it interesting that you have, I guess, a friendly relationship with him?
Well, he's the president of the United States, and you have to respect the office. And no matter who's in the office, you may dislike personality or the politics, but we all must respect the office.
All right, to nobody's surprise, the president jumped into the debate this morning, tweeting, "The fake news media worked hard to get Tiger Woods to say something that he didn't want to say. Tiger wouldn't play the game. He is very smart. More importantly, he is playing great golf again," which I'm sure President Trump is taking credit for. Listen, Tiger did a masterful job here. He finishes up playing 72 holes of golf. This is not the time to ask the guy about presidential politics. I think this is a reporter for the New York Times. I get it. I miss the days because I'm a non-political person. I've spent my entire life pretty much divorced from politics. I don't like to talk about it really too much. I don't state very many opinions about politics. I've never voted. And I know that annoys my family and a lot of people. But I don't like to be involved with politics because I'm not that big of an expert on it, and certainly these athletes aren't. And everybody ran around and was best friends with Donald Trump for 3 decades. And then he got elected president, and oh my God, if you're friends with Donald Trump, and I'm talking about black people, rappers rapped about him. Everybody loved Donald Trump. Everybody, black, white, whomever. He becomes president, now everybody's got to hate him. I tip my hat to Tiger for being prepared for it or not being knocked off his feet by it and staying out of the controversy. I think it was a smart move by Tiger.
This feels like the best performance by an athlete in front of the media since Tom Brady said, "My wife told me to stay out of politics." That was a great answer by Tom Brady, and this was great by Tiger Woods. The sad part of journalism, guys, it feels like gotcha, doesn't it? I mean, the New York Times sending to interview Tiger at this tournament. Tiger didn't get asked about Trump at any of the majors that I'm aware of. He was in play in all the majors. But now it's like, well, he's out of the mix. He's not going to win. Let's ask him about it. Let's get in that presidential question. It's kind of disappointing, right? I mean, because the websites were all ready to, it's like a feeding frenzy when somebody says something or speaks out of pocket. And it's just kind of disappointing where this stuff's headed for sports.
He is articulate. Obviously, Tiger Woods is very intelligent, articulated his point. You do have to have respect for the presidency. Even if you don't like the president, the office of president is something you should have respect for in this country. Fortunately, many don't, but that's just the way it was, regardless of who's in office. The same can be said when Obama was in office. There was a lot that didn't have respect for that. So I would say that. Tiger did a masterful job, but I always look at this like it's always interesting that we want to ask our athletes about their political views completely out of context in a situation that doesn't really fit. And I always look at it like, a kid works his butt off, comes from nothing to become a great football player. And all of a sudden he gets drafted in the first round and he gets $20 million dumped on him. And then we expect him as society to be a certified financial planner. Like, what do you mean you blew your money? Like, how could you do that? If somebody gave me that much money, I would I wouldn't spend a dime. And and it blows me away. Like, all you've ever done is work to be a great football player. I don't expect you to be a financial planner
or a politician.
Right.
Political commentator.
It's when you hear Tiger say, "Oh, I played golf with Donald." When he refers to him as Donald, what do you think he's gonna say? He's not gonna say anything negative about him. The problem is, like you said, rappers would refer to him in their songs. It was, Donald Trump was looked at as he's this rich guy, he has all this money, but nobody knew his views and how he thought of people of color. And so now that they know that, that's why he gets all this negative backlash, because nobody knew his views on and how he acted and how they feel he's treating the black race or the African American community. Tiger's always been politically correct. What did you expect him to say? It doesn't surprise me. But the way we're social media, everybody wants the black athlete to say something negative about Donald Trump because, he's against Colin Kaepernick. And that's what it's all started, and it's just it's never going to end.
I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I just want to put this into the I'm not sure what Donald Trump's views are on African Americans. I know he wants to build a wall, and that has irritated a lot of Latino Americans. I'm not sure the record is clear on where Donald Trump stands. I don't know if he's any different than Bill Clinton or any of the other presidents we've had. I think the media has whipped everyone into a frenzy. If you don't hate Donald Trump, you're either a racist or a sellout. And people like Tiger Woods is getting vilified a little bit here over social media, and some people in the media, he needs to take a stance. But it's like there's no room for Tiger Woods just to be the guy he was raised to be. His dad was in the military. Yeah. Tiger Woods has lived a pretty great life. To ask Tiger Woods to now know how people that he never grew up with, haven't been friends with, for him to have feelings for them, strong, passionate feelings that he wants to put out there on the record, I think is somewhat unfair to Tiger Woods.
I'm like you. I'm not a big political person, but it's just funny. The other day, I want to say it was yesterday or Saturday, I got a daughter that's 6 and a son that's 4. My daughter says, "Why don't people like Donald Trump?" And I don't know what to say to that. Yeah. Because there's so many different reasons. She's 6 and she asks that question, and my son is sitting there like, he's listening. Because he came up on a TV screen.
We banned it in our house, TJ, because the kids at school talk about it. My kids came and said, "We're not talking about that." But does this not feel kind of like Michael Jordan's Republicans buy shoes too moment? I mean, Tiger just sidestepped everything, just like Michael Jordan did. Now, it was easy with no social media in the 80s or early 90s to just punt on all politics. It's a lot tougher now. Like you said, people on social media are attacking Tiger.
I want to end on this note. TJ, the next time, if your kids are watching, the next time they ask you that question, give them a very serious answer. Seriously. Donald Trump puts out a lot of negative energy. I mean, through his Twitter, he attacks everybody. That's why he's not liked. He puts out negative energy, and people give negative energy back to him. All right, welcome back. Mark Schlereth, Bucky Brooks, and TJ Houshmandzadeh are back. Let's move to New York, where Odell Beckham Jr. and the Giants have reportedly agreed to a 5-year extension worth $95 million, making Odell the highest paid receiver in the NFL. The deal also includes $65 million guaranteed, and Odell and his teammates posted a fitting celebration on social media.
Run it!
All right, that's a pretty good video. I hate to say this coming off that video. I think the Giants have made a mistake. I think that Odell Beckham Jr. has been on his best behavior this offseason to get the money. Congratulations to Odell. You got money. They showed you the money. They paid you the money. Now they're going to regret it. Now Odell's going to go back to being Odell, and all that money just is going to expose what Odell really is. He's not. I don't think he loves the game. I think he loves the attention. I think he loves being a celebrity. Now he's got the money to be that kind of celebrity, and that's what they're going to get. They got a celebrity wide receiver. He's not Julio Jones. He's not Antonio Brown. They will not get their money's worth out of this deal.
Oh, I disagree. I believe he's the engine to that Giants offense. And if they didn't pay him, if they didn't retain him, that offense can't function. Eli Manning is a different quarterback when number 13 isn't on the field. Yes, Odell Beckham Jr. is a rock star. Having been around him when he has kids around, he's a rock star. I've never seen any athlete command that kind of presence from teenagers that Odell has. But what I will say, I don't know of many that work harder than him. I don't know many that can put the ball in the paint like he does. When he is on the field, he's nothing short of spectacular. The New York Giants had to open up the bank because he is their most important player.
You know what's interesting? Like, had they gone in a different direction in the draft, had they taken Sam Darnold, maybe this doesn't happen. But they know they need to support Eli. They need to put people around Eli to make Eli an efficient quarterback so Eli can continue to play. Because what happened last year without the people around him, without the pieces around him, man, he was a shell of his former self. I will say this about a guy like Odell. Now, I love his passion for the game. He needs to grow up from an emotional maturity standpoint. But when I see people celebrating other people's success, like I just saw in that video, you know what that tells me? I mean, how often?
Make it rain tonight.
Right. But what I'm saying is that he's well liked. Those guys genuinely have an affection for him as a teammate, and that to me, that says a ton about who he is within that locker room. Like when you see other people get a raise, you're like looking at those people like, are you kidding me? That guy got the raise, man. Didn't I deserve the raise? Yep. Like how often do you celebrate other people's success? That's it. To me, that's an incredible video. That says everything I need to know.
Mark, if we had this kind of video when I was a high school football player, you could have seen me and my teammates. When the McRib came out on McDonald's, we were celebrating the exact same way.
It's number one, the Giants are a much better team when Odell Beckham's on them. He's one of the best receivers in the league. He's not Julio Jones. He's not Antonio Brown. He's right there. Mm-hmm. But how it works is you're always going to bypass the receivers that have come before you in terms of pay. He's nowhere near the highest paid player in the league like he thought.
I got it.
But if you look at it from this perspective, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Odell Beckham is on that type of level internationally when it comes to NBA player. Like he's recognizable by everybody in the world.
What is he gonna do on the field now that he's got this money?
He's gonna do the same thing, if not more. He's performed pretty damn good on the field since his rookie year. He's played extremely well. Social media following. He has over 11 million followers. Tom Brady has 4. That's his level of popularity, so they're going to get their money worth.
TJ, why do you keep going to social? What's he going to do on the field now that he's got this money?
So
I don't think he's going to be the same player.
So you mean to tell me? So basically, what you're saying is when guys get good deals, they tuck it in.
When Odell. And we've seen, I've seen Albert Hainsworth tuck it in, and I've seen Ndamukong Suh get paid and not deliver. Odell, to me, doesn't fit the personality of the guy.
He has a sense of pride. He has a sense of pride. He wants us to say he's the best receiver in the league.
I don't think he would
he's
work
out here working
all
out
the social
hard.
videos.
Yeah.
He's at UCLA working out. He's everywhere working out. He and Jarvis Landry are cut from the same cloth when it comes to working out. Those dudes get after it like no other. And I just believe with the money in his pocket, look, he welcomes the spotlight. He knows
there are certain guys. There are certain guys. When I was as an offensive player, when you break the huddle and LT is on the, you're like, where's 56? Where is that dude? Right? Junior Seau. There are certain guys when 13 comes off.
Dancing around my question. Let me ask the question.
Yes.
Again.
It was a bad question. Go ahead. Rephrase it.
I just want to say again, Odell. Once all this hard work you're crediting him for, to me, was about getting paid, not being the greatest.
What has shown? His first 3 years in the league,
The
1,300
boat part
yards.
is what
You don't
shows
see
me.
that. He's having fun. He's 23 years old, 24.
That's
what
the
you want him to
emotional
do?
maturity
A
thing
lot
that
of guys are in it for the
Right.
money. A lot of guys are in it to be great.
No,
I think he's
I-
in it for the money.
He's
I think- I think-
everybody's in it for the money. Everybody. 100% of players.
Okay, some are in it for both. Some are
There
in
we
it for
go.
just one.
Yes.
But I
Money.
think he wants to be great. I think the numbers that he put up those first 3 years when he broke records,
Unlike any
receptions,
other.
touchdowns, all this stuff, he's a dominant player. I don't think you can find many players that can single-handedly dominate the game like he can from outside. And Pat
Julio
Shermer's
Jones
offense,
and Antonio Brown
They can.
off the top
Right.
of my list.
Yes.
they
Top
can,
of my
but
head.
they don't put it in the paint like Odell does. Odell puts the ball in the paint. There's a premium for guys that score touchdowns.
Antonio
he
Brown
scores
is
touchdowns.
about the only one.
It's a difference.
Odell Beckham is a hell of a player. To
I'm
me,
not saying. I'm saying.
and he's going to live up to this
You're
contract.
saying he's going to roll over.
He's going to relax.
and
He's got the money. That was mission accomplished.
You know what? He just looks like that. But inside, he's a dog. He just looks like that. He's a dog.
He's pretty in the face, but he's a dog.
He just looks like that. He's a dog.
You know,
Please-
you
please
know,
prove me right.
Oh, whoa,
Please
whoa,
prove
whoa,
me
whoa,
right.
whoa, whoa, whoa. You do know the poodles are dogs as well, right?
Nah, he's a pig. Hey, when they're a poodle, we call them a poodle.
All right, guys. To Jacksonville, where Jags receiver Marquise Lee is out for the year after suffering a knee injury on a low hit during a game against the Falcons on Saturday. The hit was illegal and drew a flag, but that didn't stop Jalen Ramsey from blaming the NFL's new helmet rule for his teammate's injury.
Can't be mad at 2-7. Kind of got to be mad at the NFL, I guess. Not mad at them, but I mean, it's just how the rule is. Like people are scared to tackle normal, I guess, just because they think they're gonna get helmet to helmet or they think they're gonna get flagged. And now it's not even flagged; it's also potentially getting thrown out the game, and that's game-changing stuff to happen. So you don't really want to blame him. You know he felt bad for it.
Listen, I agree with Jalen Ramsey. I think he's talking about the helmet rule, but he's also just talking about the rules in general over the last few years. You're begging defensive backs to hit people in the knees and not hit them in the chest area or anywhere where you can get flagged. And this is the consequence of it. You're going to have more and more hits like this and more knee injuries, and guys are going to have their careers cut short rather than getting a concussion and maybe having their life cut short. If you believe all the science. I think Jalen Ramsey's right here. This is an outgrowth, a byproduct of the helmet rule and all the other rules they put up against the defense.
We used to have a gentleman's agreement when we played. If I played defensive back, he played wide receiver. If I had a chance to hit him, I'm always going to hit him up high. I'm not going to hit him in his money makers. I'm not going to hit him in his legs. I'm going to take him down. Now you've made it where I can't even do that because now I'm giving up money. I'm potentially being ejected because I can't hit him high. It's a penalty. So I have no choice. My only course of action is to take him out low. We saw it years ago when T.J. Ward hit Rob Gronkowski because they started changing the emphasis on the targeting rule. It is harder for defensive backs more than ever to make solid hits on players. You don't have much surface area. So now the only thing that you can do is chop guys down in the league. It's unfortunate, but that's now how guys have to play in the back end.
He's 100% correct. I'm a receiver. If I'm a receiver in today's game, I go before every game. I go to the safeties. Listen, bro, hit me up high. If you get fined, I'll pay the fine. I would prefer to get hit high than low. And I played the game. I don't want to be hitting my knees at all. I don't want that. You can't. He catches the ball as soon as he turns, bam. He can't protect himself. He can't jump. He's kind of curling up because he knows he's about to get hit. You're not used to getting hit low by safeties. We don't get hit low because they're trying to blow us up. But now it's what you said. Guys are concerned about the 15-yard penalty and that fine. Man, they need to go to these DBs and say, bro, hit me up high. I'll pay the fine if you get fined. Because I don't want to lose a season by tearing my ACL. It's he just signed a deal.
Hey, listen, I started working out again just simply because the way the league is going right now, eventually it's going to be a no-contact sport. I'm going to make more money signing a one-year deal than I did 12 years playing. I mean, if we just take contact out of a contact game, I'm 100% on board with you. This rule, the unintended consequences of the way they're calling rules right now are going to be continued knee injuries and leg injuries, and that's 100%. We all feel the same way, even on like peel back blocks. Back in the day when that was legal, we had it with a D lineman. Listen, if I get a peel back block, I'm going to hit you right in the chin.
Right.
If they didn't want you to hit you in the legs, you're going to hit you right in the chin. You're going to see it coming. That's the way it was on interceptions. Same thing, man. I can't tell you how many times I've been knocked ass over tea kettle. Got it right here. I mean, and that's fine. That's the way the game has been played for a long time. I understand the safety aspects of what they're doing. But if you want to change, this is what irritates me. Can we get together as a players association and a league and actually discuss what you want, as opposed to letting the competition committee just say, hey, here's the new rule, we're dictating it? That's the wrong approach. We keep talking about changing the culture of the National Football League. Why is it 100% on the players? Why?
They're changing the culture. It's just
right. Well, but my point is this: we're the ones. The players are the ones getting fined. The players are the ones that have to change the target. The players are the ones that have to do this. Meanwhile, everybody else just watches them get fined and go, wow, that's too like. Well, how
You're
come?
making my point.
Well, how come Vontaze Burfict can continue to go out and play and Marvin Lewis not get fined for it? Like, why don't, like, instead of taking a player's money, make him stand on the sideline if he does something egregious, make him stand on the sideline in street clothes and fully pay him. So the owner comes down and says, what are you coaching? Why? I don't want to pay a guy $1 million to stand on the sideline.
I got another suggestion.
Okay.
I have another suggestion. And we don't have time to go all off into it, but what you're talking about, Mark, is there's some other adjustments in the rules that can be made besides penalizing players. Why have I never heard it discussed, hey, let's make it illegal for safeties to line up more than 10 yards off the ball? That'll slow down some of the collisions. Why aren't we allowing defensive backs to put their hands on the receivers further up the line so there's less separation, tackles are easier to make? It blows my mind that the NFL has never partnered with some mid-major college football league, my conference, let's say the Mid-American Conference. Partner with them, pay them some money to test out some of the rules adjustments that you'd like to implement in professional football and study them for a year or two in a Mid-American Conference, some mid-major conference, and then adopt them to the NFL. I don't see any creativity, and that's what you're getting at. Their solution is let's just take money out of the players' pockets, let's just browbeat them and penalize them, and that'll fix the game, rather than trying to creative ways.
What happens when Aaron Rodgers scrambles and somebody goes low and tears his knee out? Then you'll see.
It's different because quarterback's always protected.
Not when they get out the pocket. Not when they get out the pocket.
DeAndre Hopkins, Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham Jr. You lose some of your superstars.
You're going to get a lot of receivers hurt.
Then it would be like.
Because guys, you're going to get a lot of them hurt.
Here's what will change things. The Giants just gave $95 million to Odell Beckham Jr. Let his knee get taken out this year, and they got to watch all that money go up in smoke.
Go down the drain.
Then they'll change. All right, welcome back. Mark Schlereth, Bucky Brooks, and TJ Houshmandzadeh are back. Let's move to Lamar Jackson, who struggled so far this preseason, but just turned in the best performance of his NFL career. In a win over the Dolphins, he went 7 for 10 for 98 yards and a TD and added another touchdown on the ground. Afterward, Lamar sounded pretty relieved.
How much fun was it out there?
Absolutely fun. I felt a lot comfortable, coming into my fourth preseason game. I hope people know, I can throw now, even though I had a low percentage, but it's all good. We had fun, came out with a win.
All right, I do think this is progress. I'm not going to hate on the man that this was progress, but I don't know if his ship has arrived. I still think they need to keep RG3. I don't think what we've seen from Lamar right now says that RG3 is expendable.
No, I think so. I think it's part of a bigger plan with RG3 being around. I think RG3 is going to be the backup in 2019. Lamar Jackson will be the starter. For years, we've heard teams with athletic quarterbacks say that if one guy gets hurt, we don't have a guy that's like him. We have to change our offense. In Baltimore, you have guys that have similar playing styles. They can go forward with Jackson and RG3 2019 and beyond.
What happens if Flacco plays well this year?
Then you change the plan, right?
Yeah.
So it's for me. I'm like you. Lamar Jackson, you went 7 for 10. That's a good game. But if you play a full game, are you going to go 21 for 30? You just don't know. It was a good game, and I don't get too high or too low. I still think He's going to be a good player in the league. It's going to take time. I wouldn't even have made the comment, I hope people know I can throw now.
Right.
It's
Well,
one game.
I would say I hope people think I can throw now. You completed 3 Texas routes to the running back. That was, that was just a dump off to the right, well, a little
Slant,
inside, right?
yeah.
Inside Texas.
Angle route.
Right, angle. And then you completed a couple shallow crosses, right? You had a one-on-one to the outside on an out route that you completed. That was your only receiver in the route. So it's not like you have a complex route tree that you're throwing to and you're reading defenses. They designed it for you, and good for them, to make it easy, get you some easy completions, get you some confidence. That doesn't mean that you can orchestrate an offense yet. He showed progress, good for him. He's a dynamic athlete. He scrambled a couple times, made some plays. But before we say, hey, now that he's 7 for 10, we can put him in there, this is the regular season is a completely different animal.
All right, let's move on to San Francisco, where a lot of people are expecting a big year out of Jimmy Garoppolo, but not everyone is so optimistic, including former 49er Bill Romanowski, who says someone, quote, very high up in the Patriots organization told him that the league will figure out Jimmy G after 6 to 8 games. All right, I'm a huge Jimmy Garoppolo homer. I bought Jimmy Garoppolo stock. I think it's going. This kind of concerns me because I have not talked to Bill Romanowski. I don't know who Bill Romanowski's source is, but Josh McDaniels used to be the head coach in Denver, and Josh McDaniels is the offensive coordinator in New England. Bill Romanowski used to play in there. He's talking very high. It sounds like Josh McDaniels to me, and this kind of concerns me. Jimmy G hasn't been spectacular in the preseason, and yeah, we're all old enough to remember Scott Mitchell.
I played with him.
Oh yeah, Scott Mitchell, and Scott Mitchell was a guy that had was the only thing I can relate to Jimmy G. Showed some flashes someplace, got a big contract to go to Detroit and be the savior, had a good 1 year where I think he threw 30 touchdown passes and then kind of fell off a cliff. I don't expect that for Jimmy G, but he's raised a concern for me.
Well, I think the more he plays, the more we learn about him. And in the preseason, watching this game against the Indianapolis Colts, you can see that people are beginning to kind of close down on what he likes to do. He's a guy that likes to work inside the numbers. Kyle Shanahan is a great play caller, did a great job last year, the last 5 games, of putting him in a situation where he could be successful. The great quarterbacks are always able to adjust to the defensive adjustments. The challenge for Jimmy Garoppolo will be, after he goes through the first cycle of the opponents that he plays, how is he going to adjust to the way the defensive coordinators adjust to him? The great ones make that adjustment and continue to move on. We'll see if he can do that.
Yeah, you tell me about, are you going to have Kyle Shanahan? Remember, Kyle Shanahan was the guy who was calling the plays when Matt Ryan was the MVP. One thing Kyle does, and he does a great job of this, you watch him, watch them on the clock. Kyle, everything in that West Coast offense has a kill it, so it's 2 plays. And you're going to set some kind of motion across. You're going to try to designate, are they in man? What coverage are they in? They're in quarters, they're in thirds. What are they in? We're going to basically able to diagnose that, and then I'm going to put you in the play where you're going to have the most success. So when you start seeing them on the line of scrimmage, start to call plays, they got 25 seconds left. So Kyle can talk to them all the way through this thing and say, this is what we've got. So that's the kind of relationship that you have with Kyle Shanahan, what Matt Ryan had with Kyle Shanahan. So I don't think that Jimmy G is just going to fall off the map because I think he's coached too well to do that. Maybe he'll have, a little bit maybe, but I still think that Jimmy G, I'm with you. I bought the stock, I'm in.
Why is this coming out now? Because when it happened, it was, oh, man, Brady won. Belichick wanted to keep Jimmy G, and why is this coming out now? Why didn't this come out then? To me, it's just all talk. It's all hype. And why 6 to 8 games before he falls off the cliff? He played 5 games. You have a whole offseason to study him. Why not game 1, 2, and 3?
Well, you want to see what he looks like.
And this is the thing, though. After you go through your first cycle of opponents, a great coach is going to change the game plan. You're not going to run the same thing. So it goes hand in hand. The coaching and the quarterbacking, the play call, everything is going to change because you're not going to do the same thing over and over.
Here's what I would say, and I'm high on Jimmy G. But when he comes in and plays at the end of the season last year, you got to remember the 49ers are a laughingstock. All the opponents are going, man, we're going to throw our helmet out here and we can knock off the San Francisco 49ers. They caught everybody by surprise last year, those last 5 games. I don't think they were getting the A games from the opponents. It's the San Francisco 49ers. Now Jimmy G, Kyle Shanahan, and that whole team have captured the imagination and the attention of the rest of the NFL. And coaches are competitive. Oh, Kyle Shanahan, he's the greatest play caller.
I believe, short of winning a Super Bowl, he's never going to justify the contract that he has. He'll never justify that short of winning a Super Bowl.
Oh, no. If he comes out this year and plays at a Pro Bowl level, they win 9 or 10 games
It's almost, in the NFC, it's almost impossible for him to get to the Pro Bowl. There's too many good quarterbacks. It's almost impossible. Unless they go 12-4, 11-5, it's almost impossible.
Yeah, if you go, though, you win 9 or 10 games with that roster as they're rebuilding that San Francisco 49er team, you're going to be, you're going to develop legendary status up there in San Francisco.
Literally, if they go 8-8, you got to tip your hat to Kyle Shanahan, John
Really?
Lynch.
They won 5 straight games last year, so 8-8, really?
But they don't have a marquee playmaker on the outside. They don't have anybody that will say like, "Ooh, I got to go get Marquise Goodwin, or I need to get Pierre Garçon." So it's all scheme
but when
and
you
what
have
Kyle
the
Shanahan
type of
can do.
speed that Marquise Goodwin has, guys respect that. He's not a marquee name, but he has world-class speed, and guys respect that.
All right, welcome back. Time for last call. Bucky Brooks is here. Let's move to Colin Kaepernick, who won't be taking the field in the NFL anytime soon, which may have something to do with why the former quarterback reportedly filed paperwork to trademark the slogan, "I'm with Cap." Bucky, is this a good move?
Yeah, I think it's a good move for him. I think it's a good move because he's not playing ball anymore. He's probably not going to play in the NFL ever again. This is an opportunity for him to leverage whatever popularity and fame that he has been presented through the protests, through all the things that he's done off the field, and he can parlay that into some things. Maybe he can use this to get some charitable donations to give more money to the causes that he's been behind. Who knows? I think it's a smart move for him.
I certainly hope that he's planning on taking this money and doing something charitable with it. But if he's just trademarking it so he can make a profit off of it, profiting off your protest, which would not shock me because I believe much of what we see today is bought and paid for protesting. It wouldn't shock me if that's the route this is going. I don't think this is the greatest look. Didn't that start with Hillary Clinton? I mean, I don't know if this was some original thing like he made up, like, some of the Jackson Hive.
Even his old coach has trademarked things. Like, Jim
Capernicks,
Harbaugh, he trademarked "Who's Got It Better Than Us" when he was with the 49ers. That's part of the deal. Everyone cashes in.
All right, to Cleveland, where Hugh Jackson just said top pick Baker Mayfield will start the Browns' final preseason game and has earned the backup role on the Browns roster. Bucky, is it a bad look? The number 1 pick is Cleveland's number 2 quarterback.
No, I don't think it's a bad look. If you go back and look at John Dorsey's history, this is what they did with Pat Mahomes. He was part of the Green Bay Packers when the Green Bay Packers had Aaron Rodgers playing behind Brett Favre. If you're in this for the long haul, you want to make sure that Baker Mayfield is given every opportunity to grow into the franchise quarterback. Sit him behind Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor's won games in the league. He's been a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Bucky, how many times I got to tell you, it's Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod has sworn off Tyrod. It's Tyrod Taylor. And look, I love your point about John Dorsey. They did it with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. They did it with Pat Mahomes and Alex Smith. They're doing it again with Tyrod Taylor and Baker Mayfield. It's not a bad look at all. Baker's going to get some first-team snaps for a change, though.